Greg, one of the great environmental dictas that I always quote on this program is that there's no free lunch. Pollution is matter out of place. Everything has to go somewhere. So even with an electric vehicle, you're generating that electricity somewhere, a nuclear power plant or a coal plant, and you're having to dispose of probably a nickel-cadmium battery. Tell me about the environmental effects.
Well, I think it's true to say that there are no zero-emission vehicles. I think that's a misnomer because the energy has to come from somewhere and you have to produce it. So you have to look at things from a well-to-wheel analysis and see what overall cycle is the most efficient. And yes, you can reduce the pollutants that were regulated in the 70s, and that's been done well, and you can reduce them even further. But maybe you're missing the point of the problem. The point is that if you're going to reduce the overall impact of the car, you have to look at the whole cycle, from extracting the energy from its source until it's disposed in the form of that you've moved yourself or you've displaced yourself from one location to the next.
So you're talking about going right back to the production of plastic for the dash and right back to mining iron to make
it includes everything.
Steel?
I think you have to put it in perspective. The total amount of energy consumed over the life of a car, maybe 15 or 20 years, is mostly in fuel, maybe about 85–90%. The rest, the balance would be in making the car and then disposing of the car. So the big problem is really how efficient that cycle is from well to wheel in the fuel consumption of the vehicle. That's the biggest part of the problem.
Now, you've told me something that I think I was mistaken on. I always congratulated myself for driving a 10-year-old vehicle because all the life cycle energy costs are still there. I'm still getting use out of all that plastic and steel and metal and chrome and stuff. But you're saying that the fuel is more important than that?
Yes. There's a huge amount of energy that gets consumed during the life of the car in terms of fuel.
And we have to think of the life cycle of the fuels as well.
Yeah.
There are different energy inputs into the creation of fuel. So for example, if you're looking at carbon dioxide emissions from fuels, you can look at carbon dioxide emissions from gasoline versus using electricity now that we'll move towards electric cars. And important for the customers, you look at the cost of those things in operation as well. They all become part of the whole equation.